Hey there! Hello people. Today, I do not intend to speak at great length, nor waste your time. First, let me draw your attention to the basic cause of today's day society, which normally blames all its problems to the imperfection of human nature, when the actual problem is in the lack of organization of human society. It doesn't matter how much the capitalist system try to fool us. Any man with heart will agree with me, after looking at this world, that our life is not happy. No one comes to life fully developed or with knowledge. Everything develops with time and experience, like a journey in which you obtain knowledge. This journey is called the history, and only the ones who understand this journey will understand communism. Gentlemen, if you find the idea of communism good, it's because you are mature. Communism is the perfect form of government as everyone is equal. There is no working class or middle class, no preference. Everyone gains an equal share of the money, food, and housing, which will end one of the world's main problems, which is poverty. However, there is too many people in this world who only care about themselves and how much money they have, and they start comparing themselves with another person, like if having money was some kind of game. And the one who has the most wins, in which the winner gets power, which only corrupts and changes people for the worst. And the corrupts and cheaters are the ones who take control. They have control of economy, of politics, of countries. We cannot let this continue. Communism, in essence, is far superior to capitalism. It embodies a system of equality in terms of money and power. In a communist society, the idea of government has withered away, as there is no need for a ruling body anymore. As communists, we don't believe in a big government. We believe in collectives, communes, and communities working on a local level to address problems and issues unique to them and solve them together. If they choose to band together for whatever reason, they may of course do so. But at the end of the day, we do not believe in the state. Communist society is the position of being the most famous of utopias. But we can change that. We should change it. We shall make this idea from a utopia to a reality. The property and resources will belong to society and not to an individual. It anticipates common ownership of all land and capital and dropping away of the violent power of the state. In such society, social relations are going to be regulated by fair principles, each according to the ability, each according to the needs. Differences between classes will disappear, opening up the possibilities for unlimited development of human society. We allow the existence of multiple political parties. It is nominated by the Communist Party. There is no meaningful separation of powers between branches of government, and a small group of important Communist Party members operates as the head of a state. Because a communist state claims to act on behalf of the people as a whole, dissent is rarely tolerated and can even be viewed as treason. The resulting lack of open political debate, as well as a history of scandal-laden elections, has prompted many historians to view communist state as little more than thinly veiled dictatorships, while economic markets may be allowed to manage themselves to a limited extent. A communist state normally advocates a carefully planned and controlled economy. In theory, maintaining control over the economy limits the extreme greed and exploitation of workers that is prevalent in capitalism. The communist ideal is that everyone works together for the common good. A communist state is a system of government whereby wealth is distributed to the people based on need. Production resources are owned and controlled by the government. The government, in turn, is expected to operate for the benefit of the working class. People will probably try to argue how a planned economy will work. My response is that first, you should look out to capitalism and notice that it isn't exactly efficient either. When people can take natural resources, use them to create a product, and finding that your product doesn't actually sell, and it will be stuck with a warehouse full of other stuff. You can't exactly assert capitalism doesn't have just as much potential to be wasteful. As technology continues to improve, the possibilities for ending human suffering and the reality of that continuing suffering become even more ridiculously extreme. Even now, despite technological and production increases, people continue to work longer and longer hours, while the annual income of the richest people of the world will be enough to end extreme poverty worldwide. But still, they decide to keep it selfishly with capitalism, permitting this, while in communism, we could give it a better use. This can be explained in detail by the factors of production. We see land and private property made from the resources from land. Why? Land is just land. Land didn't belong to anyone until someone with a business established that certain space between some points will belong to him. That's the origin of the so-called right. Someone in the distant past just took it. And because of this, you can buy a plot of land, never use it for anything, and yet have every right to keep anyone from living there, which doesn't seem fair because the world belongs to everyone. and you can only own property in as much as you can be the one currently using it. So communism avoids the waste or misuse of lands. The idea of money capital will be abolished as well, since every worker is equal and receives the same payment. I will venture to say that there is no real payment, as much as an availability to the same resources and privileges as everyone else. Capitalism incites self-sustainment, but also supports a dog-eat-dog nature. It makes people rely on one's ability to do better than another, which is unfair, because no matter what capitalism says, even if someone works hard, if this person is naturally less capable at a skill, ability to speak, ability to understand quickly, etc., he doesn't have a chance to succeed, because society will value more a particular skill over another. Capitalism supports and incites the desire for a better than a normal life, and to have a better education in order to attain this. It also incites consumerism, which led to the Great Depression of a country, and killed thousands of people, with starvation, or lack of covering of the basic needs of a person. It also incites materialism, which is an injustice within itself and is the contrary of what a society should be. And that is the equality of all, in all regards possible. The idea of class deteriorates as well, since class superiority is not longer possible. No longer can individuals or groups who previously had more status or money have influence or power over everyone else. Under the labor theory of value, if entrepreneurs want to make a profit, they just pay their workers less than the total value of their effort. Entrepreneurs are able to do this because they control the means of production, the inputs used to make products and services, and the locations where the production occurs. Marx argued, combined with a surplus of workers relative to the numbers of available positions, entrepreneurs' control over the means of production allows them to pay workers less than what their labor is worth. So basically, some of the benefits of the communist economy for its people is there is no private ownership. Capital resources such as money, land, or physical equivalent are owned by the state. Inputs and outputs are determined by the state. Inputs are allocated according to the plans and outputs targets are how they are set. Labor is allocated according to what the state needs, so there is a balanced society in economy. There is no private property. People are allocated residences by the state, and the lands are distributed by it too. Prices are regulated entirely by the state, with little regard for the actual costs of production. Often, a currency does not exist in a command planning economy, and when it does, its main purpose is for accounting. Instead of paying for goods and services, when you need to buy them, you're allocated goods and services. In Western democratic and capitalist societies, the price mechanism is a fundamental operator in allocating resources. The laws of demand and supply interact. The price of goods and services send signals to producers and consumers alike to determine what goods and quantities are produced and help determine what the future demands and quantities will be. The law of demand states that the higher the price of a good or service, the less the amount of that good or service will be consumed. In other words, the quantity of a good or service demanded rises when the price falls and falls when the price increases. Communism, also known as a command system, is an economic system where the government owns most of the factors of production and decides the allocation of resources and what products and services will be provided. The communist economic system is an economic system where economic decisions are made for the community's benefit. In our economic system, we seek for the well-being of all its citizens. Human rights are affected by this system in a good manner. People usually are claiming for life, liberty, and property. People will receive property since there is no real ownership of individuals. Everyone is allowed to have a house or place to live. With communism, we guarantee you that you will have a better living. The idea of perfect equality in communism argues for a right of expression and press. Since each individual is equally important, each should have an equally valid point of view. Even now, all of the ideological bases of the main prejudices which have divided the working class and pitted us against each other, sexism and racism, have been completely disproven from a political and economical point of view. Unfortunately, this is not enough to mean that these prejudices will end. They are all deeply rooted in our economic system, in society, and in culture. So, friends, compatriots, if you understand and believe what I am saying, please don't be afraid of this new change and embrace this new way of life that will accept everyone and make change your life for better, of course. Thank you.